You know, Christ was an actor. I heard that he had a ministry going on for 3.5 years. But it was really like 7 years. Maybe it was 8, 7 full. Or maybe it was just 3.5. But at some point, I think it was like the first 3.5 years, like something was probably going on, and he was just probably getting fed up with it. He might even have cursed a couple times to his mom about, these people out there. But then again, according to the scriptures, he never sinned, and he was perfect. According to the scripture. Now, from the first 3.5 years, I think he was just getting warmed up. And then the 3.5 years, now again, I'm pure speculation, I don't know. I think the last 3.5 years, he knew that he was fulfilling scripture. So that's why he rode in on a donkey, because he was written about that he was supposed to ride in on a donkey. Which reminds me of why all these next top messiahs here in America are all acting. They're like, look, Christ was an actor. He knew what was going to happen. So once he got to a certain point, he decided to fully act it all the way out. I wouldn't be surprised, if after that 3.5 year period when he was silenced, that he even acted all that out. That way he can... I think that's probably where everybody got the idea. It's like all the Hollywood people are like, man, I don't really want to do this anymore. I need to fake my death and just live with, in peace somewhere. It's like, yeah, I don't know if you can do that. And they're like, why not? Jesus did it. They're like, that's a good point. Yeah, he did do that. Then he pulled a Houdini act on us, and he really didn't die, but he pretended he did. And then he faked his own death, and he's like, look, I did my job, all right? You guys, here's my stuff. I'm out of here, man. I did what I needed to do. I was shut down in silence, and I'm moving on with my damn life. Here, my works do follow me, and you guys are gonna write whatever you guys are gonna blaspheme my name and write all kinds of garbage about me and lies, but my people, my sheep, will hear my voice, and they'll know. And the ones that don't hear my voice, well, guess what voice they're hearing? The whisper's voice. That's right. So if you don't hear the voice of Christ, then you're hearing the voice of Satan. So what if he acted this all out and he really didn't die? What if he lived to be like 88 years old and he had a nice, peaceful, enjoyable life afterwards? What if that happened? I'm not saying it did, because I don't know, and you don't know either. Nobody knows. Nobody truly knows what happened. For all we know, he could have died on the cross and rose 3 days again. And then when he rose 3 days, and he went to show himself to, the people, Because what happened was he was walking by, and his apostles heard him, but they didn't even know that it was him. So that's the crazy part. Like, how do you not know that it's him? You know, you can't see all the blood around his head. You see that? Oh my God, that speaker was loud. You didn't see that? The blood around his head? You didn't see, like, his face all bloody and his body, like, just blood stained his clothes? You didn't see that? I don't know how you couldn't see that, you know? Oh, wait a minute. That couldn't have happened, because if he was all bloody and he was going up to the apostles, you know, I think even Mary thought that he was the gardener. Wouldn't she say, like, oh my God, are you okay? Do you need me to clean that blood off of your face? What happened to your head? Why do you get fork marks all over your face? What are you bleeding from? Like, if his apostles seen him, maybe they didn't recognize him because he wasn't bloody, right? But then, see, yeah, they didn't recognize him because if he was bloody, let's face it, they would have recognized him. The clothes and everything. But then that would be a miracle that God could take his dead body and just, like, kind of like make it a whole body. I don't know. It's something to think about. Because I try to look at things literally too, and spiritually, and try to balance them out. What makes more sense to me? If I was in the tomb and I died, and 3 days later I was all bloody and beat up, and they laid me there, because I don't think they washed him before he went to. You know what I mean? I just think they just wrapped him up, and put him away. Even if they tried to wash him, it's, you know, you got scars and stuff. So, I don't know. Wouldn't he be bloody? And then once he rises up, if he wasn't bloody when he seen the disciples, then did he wash himself off somewhere? I don't know. Why did he only have the scars in his hand, but then not around his head and this? They're just questions that I ask myself. Because I entertain thoughts that are outside of the box, because I'm not afraid of Satan. Because Satan is, you know, Satan can be a good friend. You just don't have to let him rule your life. That's it. The influence of Satan, because once you conquer what he is trying to put fear into you, it's like you kind of can appreciate. That's why I'm on this kick. You can kind of appreciate what he is doing, but you don't have to let him run your life. And the people that let him run their lives, they're the puppets that are living in fear, and they're also the ones that are afraid to even entertain anything about Satan that's good. Like, everything is bad. This is what everybody believes. Everything's bad. He's horrible. And Jesus Christ is perfect. You know, come here. You just gotta come back down to earth just a little bit. Hey, Satan, come up to earth a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, people beat Satan down so bad to the depths of hell, and that's where he dwells, you know, in your temple. And then everybody has praised Christ so much, and I know how it sounds, you know, coming out of my mouth. I know how that sounds, but I'm not discrediting Christ, and I'm not discrediting Satan. I'm giving them credit where the credit is due. However, how did you turn to Christ? I need everybody to think about this now. How did you turn to Christ? What happened in your life that was so terrible? The route that you were going, listening to Satan and the whispers and his minions, the route that you went towards, what was it that you were doing that you finally decided to turn to Christ? And then once you turn to Christ, you're like, yeah, like, F you, Satan, piece of shit. I did the same thing. I did the same thing a lot. But I'm supposed to love my enemies, okay? That's what that is the key. Who is our enemy? Well, Satan is our enemy, isn't he? I mean, isn't he the enemy? Doesn't the Bible say love your enemies? So then you're supposed to love your enemies. You're not supposed to love what Satan does, but you love Satan because you love Christ, because they're family. You know? I look at it like this. The Seder twins, Satan. Satan twins, they're my brothers. I wouldn't ever allow them to rule my life and make decisions for me, but I love them. I still love them. I just wouldn't do, the things that they're doing. That's all. But when I see you guys, we're not going to be fighting. We're not going to be swinging at each other. We're going to be reminiscing about the good old times of when you had me, up against the ropes, and then I came back and knocked you out, with a one punch. But think about what you what turned you to Christ? Satan did. Deal with it, people. Okay? Satan turned you to Christ because you were a piece of shit. Not everybody, but I just kind of, I'm looking in the mirror right now, actually talking to myself. I mean, not really, but a black mirror. What I'm saying is I was a piece of shit. And that's how I turned to God, because I was following Satan and listening to him. So that's why I'm not in jail now, because I'm not listening to Satan. I might get locked up for breaking man's law, but not God's law. So I turned to God because I got the help of Satan to turn me to him. Satan put an end to my thievery. The thievery of stealing from people instead of stealing from the rich and giving it to the poor. I'm never going to stop doing that until you guys decide to share everything you got. Then I'll stop stealing from you. But I stopped being a thief, criminal, to God in his eyes. And it's because of, thanks, Satan. I followed you, I followed you around and you led me in the wrong direction. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm glad I smacked my head into the wall and just hit rock ass bottom. Like, bam. So what were you doing before you turned to Christ? And think about that. I really need people to understand that peace on earth comes from loving your enemies. And the main enemy is Satan. We were all created by the same Father, right? That's right. So, when I'm hanging out with Steve, it ain't like I'm going to do the things that Steve does, because his stepdad, his stepdad is Satan, but his real dad is my dad, it's my father. So, what were you doing, before you turned to Christ? Were you listening to Satan? Were you listening to those whispers? And are you still listening to him now?